Amid the flames of a world at war, a sacred pact was made, not between nations, but between Hitler and God himself. The winter of 1918 was bone deep cold, snow weighed heavily on rooftops, and the sky hung grey like mourning cloth. Linz, the quiet Austrian town, had fallen into a strange silence after the war. Soldiers returned not with glory, but with wounds, some physical, some invisible. On Christmas Eve, St. Michael's Church stood silent as a tomb. A few faint candles flickered near the altar. The pews were empty. Only the wind moaned through the wooden doors, old and cracked. The heavy church doors creaked open. A young man entered, thin, pale eyes, full of rage and despair. Adolf Hitler, draped in a tattered military coat, walked with heavy, uneven steps. He went straight to the altar, fell to his knees not in prayer, but in fury. Why, God, you gave us hope, then let our enemies crush us. Where were you when we crawled like rats in the trenches? Father Altenbach, startled by the shouting, emerged from his study clutching a Bible. My son, he said gently, this is a holy night. Let go of your hatred, seek peace. Hitler turned toward him, eyes wild. You don't understand. I don't want peace. I want justice. I want the world to kneel before the German people. Suddenly, the candles flickered violently. There was no wind, no sound. Only a stillness so heavy, it made the air feel solid. A presence filled the room, unseen, unspoken, undeniable. Behind the altar, a strange light emerged, not golden and warm, but cold white-gray, like fog and fire mixed. No face, no wings, just a whisper inside Hitler's mind. You are wounded, and you are not alone. If I offered you a seed of power, would you dare make the world tremble? Hitler's breath quickened. Something in him ignited. He whispered back, almost reverently, yes. Give me the chance. I will make them remember my name for 1,000 years. The light vanished. The candles died. Silence returned. Father Altenbach saw nothing, but a chill ran down his spine. Something unnatural had just entered the world. Hitler left the church in silence. Outside, the snow continued to fall. But strangely, the air had grown warmer. On the altar, the Bible lay open. Its pages had been blown to the book of Job, and written there, do you know what you are asking? Umortao Magi, Avdas, far beyond the earth, where human language ends and eternity begins, lies the court of light, the highest hall in the celestial realm. It is not made of stone, but of truth, memory, and divine energy. Here, the eternal council gathers when heaven trembles. On this day, the stars grew still. Something had shifted. Archangel Uriel, cloaked in robes of red flame, stepped forward. Lord, a seed has been given, a soul touched on earth, one filled with vengeance, not virtue. God, seated upon the throne of all origins, radiated no anger, only silence, a stillness deeper than time. Raphael, the gentle healer, lowered his gaze. Dishuman. Adolf Hitler. His spirit is cracked, the pain in him is real, but he is not ready to carry divine purpose. Why did you speak to him? God looked across the court. No thunder, no fury. Only this. Because he was listening. And because free will is not a gift, it is a burden I offer a flame. Whether he builds with it or burns with it, is his choice. Suddenly, the voice of the martyrs rose. A haunting chorus of souls, not yet born. Their sound was like wind through bones, like tears that hadn't fallen yet. We have seen what he will do. Gas chambers, cries of children, cities in ashes, 6 million lights snuffed in silence. Uriel's eyes burned brighter. My lord, you gave him the spark. The fire he carries now bears your name. A long silence. God finally said, even the devil was once an angel. I do not write their story, I only give them the pen. As the council adjourned, a crack appeared in the walls of heaven, not of structure, but of certainty. Uriel whispered to Raphael, we are not watching prophecy. We are watching a gamble. Far below, on earth, in a tiny room in Munich, Adolf Hitler began sketching an eagle atop a swastika. The seed was growing. Heaven had not fallen, but it had leaned, just slightly, toward earth. And in that slight lean, a shadow was born. The large beer hall was packed with hundreds of fervent supporters, drinking and cheering. The mood was electric, charged with anger and desperation. Hitler, standing on the makeshift stage, spoke with fiery passion, his voice cutting through the smoke-filled room. Germany has been betrayed. The Treaty of Versailles is a curse upon our people. We will rise and reclaim our honor. Ernst Röhm stood beside him, fists clenched, ready to back his leader with force. Later that night, Hitler and his followers marched through the streets of Munich, attempting to seize government buildings in a violent coup. Police confronted the insurgents. Shots rang out. Wilhelm Bauer, a young but resolute officer, raised his rifle and ordered, "Halt! Disperse or be fired upon." Yet, as the standoff intensified, Bauer sensed something uncanny. Though the insurgents were armed and dangerous, there was a strange hesitation in the air, a sense that fate itself watched and held back. The whispered words returned to Hitler's mind, steadying him. "You carry the flame. The world will tremble before you." The coup failed. Hitler was arrested and imprisoned. Yet, something had shifted irrevocably. The spark given years before burned brighter. As Hitler was taken away in handcuffs, he looked up to the cloudy sky and muttered, "This is only the beginning." Behind the veil of the heavens, the divine council watched silently, the weight of their decision growing heavier with each passing moment on earth. The imposing Reich Chancellery stood silent beneath the grey Berlin sky. Inside, Adolf Hitler sat behind a massive oak desk, his sharp eyes gleaming with cold determination. Joseph Goebbels paced nearby, fervently discussing plans to consolidate power through propaganda and intimidation. Suddenly, a discreet knock interrupted the room. Cardinal Michael Hofnagel, a man with silver hair and a gaze heavy with concern, was ushered in. "Herr Chancellor," he said solemnly, "I come to warn you. Power is a dangerous game. Even the greatest can fall when blinded by ambition." Hitler smiled thinly, voice low and unwavering. "I am no ordinary man, Your Eminence. I am chosen. The Almighty stands with me." The cardinal's eyes narrowed. "Do not mistake arrogance for destiny. There are forces beyond your comprehension. The path you tread will drown many souls." Hitler's voice hardened. "I walk this path willingly, and I will not be stopped by fear or faith." As the cardinal left, a shadow flickered near the window, a silent reminder of the price yet to come. Outside, Berlin buzzed with the restless energy of a nation on the edge. Within the walls of power, an invisible war was brewing, between light and darkness, faith and fury, and above all, a divine gamble continued to unfold. The moon hung pale over a frozen forest, blanketed in snow and ash. Miriam, her face streaked with dirt and tears, crouched beside a shallow grave, filled with the bodies of her family and neighbors. The chilling silence was broken only by distant gunshots and the crackle of burning villages. Miriam lifted her eyes to the starless sky and whispered, "If you are there, please say something. Please don't let this be all for nothing." In the shadows nearby, an angel watched, neither able nor willing to intervene directly. Bound by heavenly law, the angel could only shed silent tears. Suddenly, distant footsteps approached. Hans Kluge and his patrol passed by. Unaware of the small figure hiding, Miriam clutched a small wooden cross she had found. Her heart beat fast, not from fear, but from a fragile hope. The angel's tears fell onto the snow, shimmering faintly in the moonlight. The night stretched on, heavy with sorrow and silence. Yet, in that bleak moment, a single flicker of light began to grow in Miriam's heart. A spark of survival, of resistance, of memory. In a realm beyond time and space, Adolf Hitler's soul stood before the Hall of Mirrors. Walls shimmering with the reflections of every life he touched. He saw countless faces. Mothers, children, soldiers, and innocents, all gazing at him with sorrow and accusation. No thunder sounded. No angel raised a sword. Only a quiet voice, heavy with sorrow, spoke from the shadows. Uriel sighed. "You were given a flame from above, yet chose to burn the world." Hitler's soul trembled, but made no excuses. Suddenly, God appeared not as a wrathful judge, but as one who bore the weight of the entire tragedy. "I gave you free will, a gift and a curse. The darkness you embraced was never mine to command. I offered the pen, but you wrote your own fate. The war has ended, but the wounds and lessons remain. Power given into the wrong hands can plunge the world into darkness. Even the divine can err. When gambling with free will, this is a warning for us all. To stay vigilant, and remember that today's choices shape tomorrow's future." If this story makes you reflect on the power of choice and its consequences, please share this video to spread the message. Don't let history repeat itself, and never hand power to the shadows. Follow the channel to explore more stories woven between light and darkness.